College classmates, Sonia and Marne, are just getting to know each other when a mountain holiday goes tragically wrong.
Shift your weight!
Trapped on a crumbling precipice.
It was terrifying. If you fell, you would fall down hundreds of feet and die.
I thought, this is it. It's only a matter of time.
They have to stay awake just to stay alive.
Falling asleep meant dying.
Survival means sticking together. But this mountain will tear them apart.
She started to think that we could die there.
Here you go, sons.
It's 4 days before Christmas,
Cheers, mate.
and postgraduate physics students Sonia Rendell and Marne Shepherd have left their books behind for a 3-day hike in the southern Alps of New Zealand.
They look so cute. They don't look real. They're going to feel pretty real once we're up there.
25-year-old city girl Sonia has just split with her boyfriend and is taking time out to clear her head.
I was heartbroken, so it was a good opportunity just to get away and start thinking about where my life was going.
Sonia had a bit of a split up just beforehand. So this hike was something I hoped that Sonia would enjoy.
At 36, Marnie's already a veteran mountaineer. This trip was her idea.
I've always loved the mountains. It brings a lot of happiness for me anyway, to feel like I'm part of nature.
The women have rarely hung out socially, until now.
Sonia and I are very different in some ways. Sonia's a lot more sociable person. She's also a bit more of a glamour person.
How are your new boots?
Oh, they're good. I really like the colours. What do you think?
I'd never hiked with Marne before.
I don't care what they look like. Are they comfortable?
She's a very experienced climber, and I knew that I was going to be in completely safe hands.
It's going to be a challenging hike. They face 3 long days of walking and rock scrambling. They'll overnight in hiking shelters along the way. Marnie's come up with a 60-kilometre route that will take them through mountain passes, right across the southern Alps to the west coast. Beautiful and remote, this wilderness can also be lethal. Even in the New Zealand summer, the weather can change without warning. And Marnie has heard that a storm system is heading their way.
Even though the forecast was bad, it was still supposed to be a day or so away. We were hoping to complete the trip before the weather turned bad.
Sonia's on a steep learning curve. This is her toughest hike yet, so she'll be looking to Marnie to take the lead.
What if I slip? Don't slip.
Marne is a very tough lady, incredibly headstrong, but I really like that in her. I'd never hiked with Marne before. I was very well aware that she's a very experienced climber.
There are some tricky bits, but I think it's a really great trip to take someone who wants to see the real mountains. Sonia and I both thought, well, yeah, we'll give it a go. The idea being that, you know, in principle, we could always turn around and come back again.
The hike starts out well, and the weather is holding. But around the next bend, a shock awaits the two friends.
wasn't expecting that.
Deep in the shadow of the canyon pass, a gigantic wall of winter snow has survived right into the height of summer.
It was quite beautiful. It was just this massive, smooth stretch of ice that covered the base of the mountain.
But alpine expert Marne instantly recognizes the ice is a big problem.
We're talking 4 or 5 stories high, not something you can just throw yourself up and hope to get over. It was firm snow, very steep, you would need crampons.
We won't even get 6 feet up there.
Neither of the women wants to turn back, but the only alternative is to climb around the wall of ice blocking their path.
But there's a bit of a path up there.
It looked like there was a way of climbing up over the bluffs by the snow and hopefully sidle around the ice. It was still very steep and definitely a climbing route, but I do have a lot of experience on this kind of terrain, and I knew Sonia was, natural in the mountains. She hadn't done climbing, serious mountaineering, but I wasn't thinking it would be like that.
I reckon we can do it.
We were very excited, and I guess the adrenaline is going as well. There was no doubt in our minds that we could do the climb.
The women reach a ridge that should take them around the ice. But the plan falls apart. The terrain is impassable without ropes.
Between us and the pass that we were trying to sidle around to, there was a very steep, uncrossable avalanche gully. Completely uncrossable.
Unwilling to abandon the trip, Marne decides that they can climb up to another ridge.
I was hoping if we climbed a little higher, we could get through.
We can't get across here, but if we nip up there, I reckon we can make it.
I was a little bit surprised. It looked like it would just be a long, long climb.
What, that ridge way up there?
But I completely trusted Marnie's judgment.
Okay.
She basically just said, follow my route, so it was always her that went first.
Now you just want to watch out for the loose scree. You don't want to scuff your new boots.
What starts as a scramble quickly turns into a serious climb. And as they get higher, novice climber Sonia starts getting nervous.
There were points where you didn't have proper handholds. It was quite a surreal experience because it was a mix between adrenaline and being scared and adrenaline and being scared again.
Kick away the loose stuff and jam your toe into that bit.
To find a way around the ice, the women have to climb higher and higher. Marne has underestimated the severity of the ascent and overestimated her friend's climbing ability.
Marne, this is just crazy.
Sonia was beginning to get scared of the train, and with very good reason.
When I looked down, it was an incredibly long fall. It was just pure sharp rock. So if you did slip, then you were going to break some bones. That did set in panic for me. I froze on the side of the mountain.
It was a very big mistake on my part taking Sonia into that terrain. Your survival depends on you being careful about what you're doing, and if you panic, you're not being careful.
Marne needs to calm Sonia down, fast.
Just relax and take some breaths, okay?
It was terrifying. If you fell, you would fall down hundreds of feet and die. You couldn't afford to fall.
Marne, I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm gonna go back down. Sonia? Sonia, you can't go back down. It's too dangerous.
I was quite certain then it was better for us to keep carrying on going uphill because climbing up is a lot easier than going down. It's a lot safer.
We've got to keep going up, okay? Don't look down. Keep calm. Try and find a foothold.
Against her every instinct, Sonia presses on. After 4 hours of climbing, they're nearly 200 meters up a near vertical cliff face. At last, the summit is within reach. But now, they hit another problem. The rock above them is dangerously unstable.
It's a case of what looks like solid rock falling apart. If you're relying on that to hold some of your weight, well, that's a disaster.
I put my foot on the rock and it fell from underneath my foot.
Marne, it's just crumbling!
I couldn't hold on to the rock much longer. It was very scary.
What do I do?
Shift your weight!
I was clinging on, trying to scramble my other foot or wedge it into the rock just to get one solid foothold. I knew if I were to fall further, it would be disastrous.
Help me! Sonia, look at me. I want you to
Experienced climber Marne has managed to scramble down.
Okay.
Now she has to calm Sonia and guide her back to safety.
Now get that leg and swing it round. I've got you, Sonia. I've got you.
Ready?
Yep.
Go!
Yes.
I can't do this anymore. I can't go on any further.
Sonia's safe, but the shock of the fall has drained her strength and her confidence.
We've got to keep moving.
I really needed to stop because mentally and physically I couldn't last much longer.
Come around and up. Put your hands where I put mine.
Pushing on, the women face a dilemma. The terrain above is even steeper, yet going back down is out of the question.
The rock quality was really poor. The rock you're standing on and the rock you're holding, all of it could just crumble.
Marne realizes she can't push Sonia any further.
I want to stop. I can't go on.
She needs to find a spot where they can take a break.
I think I see something.
There was a very small, flat patch, and it was the only safe place on that entire, cliff section.
It was an absolute relief. I could just sit down and take a deep breath and get my composure.
Marnie's decision to climb the rock face almost ended in tragedy. Now Sonia is regretting putting her life in her new friend's hands.
What were you thinking, Marne?
I knew that I had climbed parts of that mountain which was just mad.
I'm sorry. It's my fault.
I was feeling bad that I'd got Sonia into this position, but also totally focused on getting out of it.
We wait 5 minutes and then we push up to the top.
Marnie knows that the top of the ridge isn't far above them. But Sonia just can't face another grueling climb.
Emotionally, I was exhausted.
You have the realisation that you've made a very, very bad mistake and bringing somebody else into a life-threatening situation. We were on a very steep face, completely rocky, and, you know, quite exposed.
Marne knows this tiny ledge is no place to linger. They need to complete the climb before dark, and there are only a couple of hours of daylight left. But first, she needs to convince Sonia that they can make it safely to the ridge.
There's a couple of really good handholds up there. No props. You right, Sonia?
But now she's safe. Sonia's not interested in moving.
You start here, move across.
I can't go any further. I've had enough.
I was trying to reassure her that it wasn't far, but we both knew it was still going to be pretty tough, so I don't think morale was great.
We've got 2 more hours of daylight, and we can make it to the top.
No. I don't want to climb any further today.
Sonia made it clear that we should stop for the night because that was enough.
Marne agrees. They'll start the climb afresh in the morning. She's praying the threatened bad weather holds off long enough for them to reach safety.
Even though the forecast was bad, it really did look like it would hold for another, 24 hours or so. I was hoping that we would get up in the morning and it would just take us an hour or so to complete that section, and then we would be safe after that.
At 1,500 meters above sea level, even in summer, the temperature plummets at night. Soon it's only a couple of degrees above zero. And since the women planned to overnight in hikers' huts, they brought barely any survival gear.
I wasn't expecting it to be as cold as it was, and we weren't prepared in terms of, very warm clothing.
Here we go.
It was miserable.
It's bitterly cold. But Marne and Sonia figure it's only for one night.
Yeah. Keep it tucked in there.
Then, dark clouds start to roll in. This is Marnie's worst nightmare.
Once it started raining, I knew we were in trouble because it was a storm and it was going to rain heavily, that was for sure.
The bad weather, forecast for the next day, arrives early. Marne knows that trying to climb on wet rocks is lethal. Until the rain stops, they are trapped.
No, we won't be going anywhere in this rain.
How long do you reckon it will rain for?
Might clear by dawn. Rocks will be dry by afternoon.
I didn't feel that she was that upset. To begin with, she may have even been slightly relieved that we could put off going anywhere.
Their flimsy waterproofs are no match for the deluge. And soon, they're soaked to the skin.
Once the rain gets down your collar and your legs are wet, morale just gets worse and worse and worse.
But their ordeal is only just beginning. A deadly rumble is growing all around them.
What was that?
Loosened by the torrential rain, massive boulders start to crash down, smashing all around Sonia and Marne.
Oh my God!
You could hear the rocks falling on the mountain. I thought, this is it. It's only a matter of time.
They're gonna hit us!
There was really a constant stream of rocks rolling down either side of us. Some of them only a few metres away from us.
It was very scary. We just knew there was absolutely nothing we could do.
All the women can do is pray that none of the rocks will smash into them.
I just couldn't believe that we'd ended up in a situation like this.
After what seems like an eternity, the rockfall eases.
When they stopped, we were just absolutely relieved. But we just didn't sleep that night. We were so concerned about, what we were going to do in terms of the climb the next day.
By daybreak, the exhausted women are desperate to make their escape. But the rain isn't stopping.
Sonia, you'll have to stay put until the rain clears.
There was no way we could go anywhere. We had no option but to stay where we were until the weather cleared.
The crumbling rock face is now slippery as well. Any attempt to climb would be suicidal. Neither woman owns a mobile phone, so they have no way of calling for help. They decide a meal will raise their spirits.
We thought that the rain was going to pass in 1, maybe 2 days, so we thought there was no reason to ration the food. We still had a good 1.5 days worth of food left, so we ate normally.
The decision not to ration their meagre food supply is highly risky. Storms in the southern Alps can last up to a week. As night falls again, rain shrouds the mountain. And the temperature plunges towards zero.
I am so cold.
Soaking wet and chilled to the bone, the women start to shiver. And Marne realizes this is becoming a survival situation.
It was very clear from the start hypothermia was going to be the problem.
Shivering is the body's attempt to generate heat. But if the women's core temperature keeps falling, the blood supply to their organs will eventually shut down.
People usually die after a couple of days.
As exhausted as they are, Marne is afraid that if they fall asleep, they may go into a hypothermic coma from which they may never wake up.
All the blood goes out of your brain and you go into a coma and then you die.
Marne told me that hypothermia was going to be a huge risk. The reality dawned that we're at the mercy of Mother Nature.
Don't let me go to sleep. No, I won't.
I was absolutely devastated.
The women make a pact to keep each other awake, no matter what.
We were the only 2 people that could keep each other alive.
But they haven't slept for nearly 48 hours. And their body clocks are starting to rebel.
Son,
I made an effort to just constantly talk and be annoying to keep us both awake.
son, no napping.
Yeah.
I promised you luxury accommodation, eh?
But, I for myself, I was very conscious that I wanted to get Sonia out of this situation. I'd got her into it and I was determined.
Another night with no sleep gives way to another day of torrential rain. They won't be getting off the mountain today.
We're sitting on sharp rocks. You're actually in physical pain from being scrunched up. So you want to move.
They've now spent 48 hours in a series of contorted positions, crushing their legs and causing a dangerous build-up of fluid.
Okay, let's get these boots off.
Our feet were swelling up and there was a real risk that tight boots would cut the circulation off in our feet.
My feet were cramping up and incredibly painful. I had to do something.
The only way to stop the agony is to remove their boots.
That's good.
It was a huge relief taking my boots off.
But Sonia's feet are in a bad way. After days of being soaked, she's at risk of developing trench foot, a fungal infection that can lead to gangrene and blood poisoning. If they get any worse, she may not be able to resume the climb. The full repercussions of Marnie's decision to leave the trail and climb this isolated mountainside are beginning to unfold. The women aren't expected back until Christmas Day, 2 days away, so nobody will be raising the alarm. And now Marnie isn't sure they can last that long.
I was very concerned that we were starting to deteriorate and at risk of falling asleep and not being able to wake up.
As Christmas Eve dawns, Sonia and Marnie have been awake for over 100 hours, and their brain chemistry is starting to play tricks on them.
Once you start to get dangerously weak, it's like, am I hallucinating or am I awake?
Hey! No napping.
Sleep deprivation can have the same effect as being drunk.
This was your idea, Marnie. You're the one losing it.
You're such a freak.
It can also cause hallucinations. And uncontrollable rages.
You were the one that said it was a good idea to go up the track in the first place. This is your fault that we were stuck on this stupid ledge. We shouldn't even have climbed it. We should have just gone.
We would have gone up, but you were sitting here and you would have moved.
The women's simmering resentments finally boil over.
I'm not meant to know this. Are you using your brain?
I was thinking what I'd done in my life to deserve punishment like this. I just wanted to go home.
Run asleep.
I was really worried that she was going to take a nap.
If Sonia falls asleep, Marnie fears she will never wake up.
We couldn't let ourselves go to sleep at all.
She's got to get tough to save her friend's life. The violence sends adrenaline coursing through the women's bodies.
The anger got your blood going, it got you fired up.
Shocked, they realize this might be the only way to ward off sleep.
There was no holds barred on what we did.
The strain of staying awake so long has pushed the women to the very edge. With Christmas just hours away, their relationship has entered uncharted territory.
I would describe Marnie and I being in this love-hate relationship.
You're standing on my foot.
Oh, sorry, there's not a lot of room.
Okay.
You go this side, I'll go.
It was just constant bickering.
Ow, ow!
Sorry. Watch me. Can you get out of the way? It's
I'm
really
trying
cold.
to.
But at the same time, she was very, very supportive and constantly saying that we would get through it, it's just a matter of time.
Christmas Day. The two friends are in no mood to celebrate. They're exhausted, numb with cold, and all they have left to eat is milk powder. They've tried to fend off dehydration by drinking rainwater, but are still constantly thirsty.
We just couldn't stop thinking about wanting a drink of water. Sonia was quite upset about that.
I just felt horrible. The dehydration basically makes your whole body feel incredibly weak, and you just have this incredible thirst constantly.
But dehydration has a more sinister side. Even in the rain, if they don't drink 2 litres of water a day, their blood will thicken and their brains start to shrink, increasing exhaustion.
We were getting to be in a bad way. Underneath it all, I was scared. I was worried we weren't going to survive much longer.
There's a single glimmer of hope. Sonia's expected at her sister Nikki's house to celebrate Christmas, and she's sure her family will be wondering where she is.
I already knew that my mother would be panicking. I was sure in my mind that it's only a matter of time before we get found.
Here's to your mum.
We were just really hoping we would get rescued in the next day or two.
Sonia's no-show on Christmas morning has ruffled a few feathers at her sister's house.
Where on earth is she?
Well, I wouldn't be Sonia if she wasn't late, let's face it.
We were kind of joking that typical Sonia. We thought, well, Sonia was going to be making a large late entrance with, you know, drama and style.
Sonia's family aren't at all surprised she hasn't shown up.
As much as I love my sister, she's all right. Pain.
Sonia's unreliable track record has come back to haunt her. The women believe Sonia's family must be raising the alarm.
God, I've got...
Convinced that help is on the way, they decide to share in the festivities and ease their raging thirst.
Let's dig into some of this.
Marne had a bottle of wine that she was taking as a Christmas present. And we thought, what the hell, we know we shouldn't be drinking alcohol with no water, but we were going to have a bottle of wine on Christmas Day.
Okay.
By late afternoon, Nikki's annoyance at Sonia's absence has given way to concern.
I wonder if you can help me. My sister's gone tramping and she hasn't returned.
She drives to the National Park's mountain ranger station to raise the alarm. But she's only got a sketchy idea of her sister's route.
Sonia told us that she was walking to one hut, and that's all I knew.
Eventually, the rangers established that the women never arrived at the hiking hut they were heading for.
At least 2?
5 days after their ordeal started, the women are declared missing.
It was very scary. How could 2 people vanish from a track? 1 minute they were there, the next minute they were gone.
On the frozen ledge, Sonia and Marne wait for rescue to arrive. They know that alcohol will only worsen their thirst, but for now, all that matters is the wine's comforting warmth.
It was just gold in your mouth, basically.
The bottle of wine was a great morale booster.
It was gone pretty quick.
But gambling on the prospect of imminent rescue is a big mistake. Rescuers have only the vaguest idea where to look for the women. In this vast wilderness, Marne and Sonia's chances of survival are slipping away.
The fact that a whole day had passed and we hadn't been rescued was just heartbreaking. If there was an air search and rescue, we would have been rescued by now. The reality dawned that we were going to be stuck for some time.
16 kilometers away down in the valley, park rangers scramble rescue helicopters and foot patrols to hunt for the women. But with a search area spanning hundreds of kilometers, the chances are 1 in a million. Back on the ledge, the women are regretting the bottle of wine. The alcohol has dehydrated them further, worsening their raging thirst. But violent winds make collecting rainwater impossible.
Even though there was torrential rain, we couldn't collect any of that water. It was always at an angle that you just couldn't get to it. The only way we could get water was actually off or sucking out of the sleeping bags.
The same sleeping bags that have been soaking up their urine.
I thought, well, this is nasty, tasted gross. But the last of our worries was getting, some germs from the water in the sleeping bag. So all we had to do was grab a little bit next to us and suck on it.
On the ledge, the women remain prisoners for a 7th day. The wet rocks are as slippery as ice, making climbing impossible.
It really didn't stop raining at all. We were incredibly unlucky.
I was depressed. The weather was still incredibly bad. It was getting colder and colder.
Then, just as they're starting to give up hope, the sound they've been longing for.
Hey! Hey!
We were absolutely over the moon. We just knew that we were going to be rescued.
We're here! Sonia! Son! Son! We're here! Sonia! Hello! We're here!
When the helicopters didn't spot us, I was incredibly disappointed.
1,200 meters up in the mountains, the bad weather makes them invisible to the search choppers.
The helicopters had no chance of finding us in the bad weather.
Their dreams of rescue are shattered. After more than a week on the rain-lashed ledge, the women's feet are becoming seriously infected.
Keep it moving. Get some blood into it.
We both had trench foot, which had killed off the nerves in the feet. Our feet were totally numb.
Even if the weather clears, climbing on their numb and damaged feet will be next to impossible.
It was very scary. I actually started to think that we could die there.
Best known route was driving to the head of the valley up to here and then making their way across.
Since Sonia's sister Nikki raised the alarm, rangers have spent 4 days scouring the search area, both on foot and from the air. But there's no sign of the women.
We could be looking for bodies.
The search turns into a body hunt.
That's when fear kicks in. How do you live a normal life when your sister is nowhere?
After 8 days of solid rain,
Do you hear that? What? The rain. Don't hear the rain.
the downpour finally stops. It's the answer to their prayers.
Thank God. Hang on. No, this is no good.
The rain gives way to snow, and their nightmare deepens.
It was feeling like you were sitting in a bathtub of ice cubes.
Oh, it's so cold.
The sub-zero chill brings the threat of hypothermia even closer. And by dawn, The freezing temperatures have attacked Sonia's exposed and swollen feet.
Now, Sonia had frostbite on her feet. She was very distressed. But there was really nothing I could do about it.
It was very scary. It was really your body starting to shut down.
That's when I knew that, you know, even one more day or 2 more days, it could be it.
Parched with thirst, Sonia can't resist eating the snow, even though she knows it could catastrophically lower her core body temperature.
I knew I shouldn't be eating snow, but I thought, what the hell, I'm going to do it anyway. I was desperate and I needed to have it.
It's only going to make it colder.
We were beyond desperate at that stage.
As Sonia and Marne endure their 9th day without sleep, the weather veers between snow and freezing rain, and they can no longer fight the urge to shut their eyes.
I knew that falling asleep meant dying. I just really needed to let go.
It was very, very heartbreaking. You start to lose your resolve. You start thinking like, oh, maybe I could have a little bit of a nap. It's a sign that you're probably about to die yourself.
It was a shock. We could actually see some blue sky. It was the best thing that we'd ever seen.
Realizing that no rescuers are coming, Marne and Sonia decide to take their fate into their own hands.
I don't want to wait to get caught here in another storm.
I was so incredibly weak and so incredibly tired, but we were determined that we would definitely climb out no matter what.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
If we died trying to climb out, that was better than dying in that crack.
When the rock dries, they'll climb. Trying to climb on their damaged feet is near suicidal. But if they stay put, they're convinced they'll die. Back at the ranger station, the authorities call off the search for the women's bodies. But Sonia's sister Nikki can't bring herself to leave.
Your heart aches, it breaks that your younger sister, your little sister, has gone out and isn't going to return.
One of the helicopter pilots takes pity on Nikki. He offers to give her a ride over the wilderness that claimed Sonia, to say goodbye to her sister. The women prepare to climb. They haven't slept in 10 days, and they can barely feel their infected, frost-bitten feet.
My feet were swollen to the point where your skin was going to crack. But the only thing that we were thinking about was how we were going to climb out.
They're determined to escape their prison, or die in the attempt. Nikki's been told that Sonia must be dead. But she can't stop herself scanning the terrain for any sign of her sister.
You put your hand where I put mine.
I'll follow you. You ready?
Don't look down.
By some miracle, Nikki has stumbled across Sonia and Marne amid hundreds of square kilometres of wilderness.
It's my sister!
It was just absolutely euphoric. We were over the moon. I think we looked at each other and we hugged each other and we thought, thank God.
They were laughing and happy and crying, and it was amazing.
We made it, Marne. We made it.
The word relief is an understatement.
The helicopter rushes Sonia and Marne to safety. The wrecked nerves in the women's feet take 3 painful weeks to grow back. Sonia never went climbing again. But Marne would return to the mountains 10 months later.
I'm pretty sure I promised Sonia I wouldn't do that to anyone again. But I still love the mountains. I still love tramping. And I'm definitely more careful now about what I do with people.
The two women remain friends.
I think I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Marne. It was definitely her strength that got both of us through it.
Expert climber Matt Briggs is exploring the New Zealand Alps when disaster strikes. A deadly fall leaves him crippled and alone in a hostile wilderness.
I almost want to vomit from the force of that pain.
With only his dog for company. His very survival depends on battling nature, his body,
You know it's going to hurt.
and sheer terror.
I'm losing a lot of blood. I'm going to have to do this the hard way.
But the mountain won't let him go.
Give me a break!
33-year-old Englishman Matt Briggs has started a new life on the other side of the world, in New Zealand. Recently divorced, he's ended up running the store he bought with his ex-wife.
A year of separation and divorce process behind me at this stage, and much more ahead. So it was a tough time, yes.
But in his heart, Matt is no shopkeeper. Trapped with a business he can't sell, hiking in the wilderness is a welcome relief from the daily grind.
I was stressing over the sale of the business. I had a lot on my mind, and a trip into the mountains was just what I needed to actually relax and enjoy life for a week.
Matt's arranged staff cover for a few days, while he heads off to his beloved mountains.
A long trip like that, you can forget the rest of the world's there for a week. It's great.
As an experienced hiker, Matt is meticulous in assembling his kit. He even leaves his new manager a note, detailing his route and when to panic if he fails to return.
That's enough of that, little dog.
Since Matt's divorce, his constant companion has been Little Dog, or LD.
Always close to Little Dog, or LD. We spend every day together.
Ready for a walk? Good boy. Come on. Come, little dog. Stay here.
She was a very, very timid dog when I got her. She was scared of me, she was scared of everything. But over the years, she's slowly got the confidence.
All right, come on. Off we go.
She is great company.
Matt's expedition will take him through remote mountain passes to the high-altitude ice plateaus of Mount Cook, New Zealand's highest peak.
It's just sheer rock walls, glaciers and water, and that's all that's there. And then that country was what I really wanted to see.
It's the kind of ambitious route that has earned Matt a reputation with the locals.
Many of my friends here call me the Mad Pom. Pom is an Englishman who's come over to Australia or New Zealand, and for my love of the mountains, they put the mad bit on the beginning.
On this hike, Matt will totally rely on his own resources and the supplies he can carry.
Away.
I always take food for the time that I'm planning on, and also throw in another kilo or so of rice, which I know will last me 6 days. I like to push myself and get into country that pushes my limits. This was going to be one of the most challenging trips that I'd been on.
In this pristine wilderness, there are no trails to follow, and Matt is in his element as he forges a path through the tough terrain.
That's a boy. Ready? Here we go. Come on.
There's a lot of very thick undergrowth in there, so a couple of days of what we call bush bashing, just forcing your way through the undergrowth. And then up into some high country, another couple of days up on rock and scree. I enjoy the solitude, I enjoy the space. I was in my element and I was loving it. It was great.
But after 3 days of battling to get above the tree line, Matt now finds himself in even tougher and more hazardous terrain.
It's a very steep and hard to find sort of place where you are taken care with every single step you take. You do not want to put a single foot out of place.
Up. Up.
Finally, at 1,600 meters up, Matt gets his first glimpse of his goal. The distant ice plateaus of Mount Cook.
I was elated, and I just got up a pass that I didn't know even if it was going to be possible. No people, no plants, no animals. Amazing country. It was just amazing. It just takes your breath away to look at that sort of country.
Nightfall is only a couple of hours away, and temperatures at this altitude can fall dramatically. Matt knows he must start heading for the valley below and find shelter.
And past, what felt like the most dangerous part of the trip.
Heading downhill is a relief. Though not without hazards, and Matt picks his route carefully.
There's a rocky gully down below where I'm walking, with just sheer cliff walls and solid upturned rocks along its base.
Flushed with success, Matt feels he deserves a treat and decides to head for a hunter's cabin nearly 4 kilometers away in the valley below. These simple huts are scattered across the wilderness, available for anyone to use.
I'm thinking, yeah, it'd be quite nice to have a night in a hut rather than another night under canvas. I was looking down at the valley floor and really, yeah, not thinking too hard about where I was going.
But these mountains don't forgive the careless.
Found myself sliding down the hillside on my back, trying to dig my feet in, trying to dig my arms in, and thinking, yeah, we'll stop soon. Realisation dawns that I'm not slowing down, but I'm actually picking up speed. And then I realise that there's a cliff coming up. I'm not going to stop before I go over that.
With nothing to grab onto and no one to help him, Matt's momentum is about to plunge him into the void.
I did not expect to be alive when I hit the bottom.
As Matt plummets through the air, he's certain his life is over.
It felt like a very long time in the air between the top of that cliff and the bottom. In that time, an amazing amount of thoughts go through your head. It felt like an eternity. I don't remember the sensation of the impact. What I do remember most clearly is the thought, I'm still alive. It really was absolute surprise. Nothing felt too bad.
Matt experiences a wave of relief. It seems he's had a miraculous escape. But his adrenaline-soaked body is deceiving him. His wrist is smashed.
Where there used to be a straight wrist, there's now an inch dog's leg, and it doesn't look good at all.
And Matt's moment of horror doesn't end there. His ankle joint is pulverized. His tibia appears to be disconnected from his foot.
I'll do.
You can see the main bone from my leg trying to come out through the skin on the side of my ankle. It is pretty excruciating pain, the sort that gets into your gut and you actually feel physically sick.
But Matt's broken bones are suddenly the least of his worries. He realizes that he's lying in a fast-growing pool of blood.
There was obviously another serious injury somewhere, and I'm losing a lot of blood. I might not have very long left here.
Matt needs to find out where all the blood is coming from before he loses consciousness.
I start looking around. I find a gash across the back of my thigh. My finger's going up to the knuckle. It's that deep. It's gone straight through the muscle, and it looks like a piece of butchered meat.
Matt has no medical kit capable of sealing a massive wound like this, and has to improvise, using a thermal t-shirt.
Grabbed a thermal and jammed it into this hole I'd found in the back of my leg. Took about 10 minutes to stop the bleeding, and it was a terrifying 10 minutes.
Matt has just averted almost certain death, but he has a smashed wrist and ankle, and is in excruciating pain. He knows he needs medical help, and fast. Then he suddenly remembers. He has a distress beacon. When activated, it uses satellites to alert rescue services and pinpoint his location.
I'm thinking, well, all I've got to do here is get that beacon activated, and there'll be people here within a couple of hours. The weather's clear, the choppers can fly, so I'm going to get out of here.
But Matt's search through his rucksack yields nothing. And he can't see the beacon anywhere around him.
And it slowly begins to dawn on me that this locator beacon isn't here. I haven't got it with me. I'm in big trouble.
He's left it on a shelf back at the shop. Matt's usually meticulous preparation has deserted him in his hour of need. Any hope of raising the alarm is now gone. And then an even more terrible thought hits him. No one back at his shop is due to raise the alarm for another week. He and little dog are on their own.
It's not going to be a case of an hour and a half. I'm actually going to have to keep myself alive for well over a week up on this exposed mountainside.
Matt's mountain experience tells him he has no chance without water and shelter. And he has neither.
I've got to get myself some shelter where I can get at water, where I can keep myself warm, where I can keep myself dry. We could have snow, we could have any sort of weather. I've got to start looking after myself.
But there's nothing in sight that could give him protection. His only option is to head downhill until he finds anywhere he can pitch his tent. As each tiny movement triggers daggers of pain, Matt faces up to the prospect of what lies ahead of him.
It's not a case of gritting your teeth and overcoming it. You know it's going to hurt, you know it's going to be hard.
As Matt begins to drag his open wound and smashed limbs across rock and dirt, he knows he's beginning a journey through hell. But even the slightest contact with his broken bones is agonizing.
It'd be nice to scramble on my hands and knees, but I can't even use my hands because my wrist is broken. If I kept the weight off the broken bits, I was fine, but as soon as I tried to put the weight on my wrist or on my ankle, I get a wave of pain going up through my whole body.
Nightfall is just hours away, and temperatures are already falling. Matt knows he must find shelter for him and little dog, but when he tries to press on, the pain overwhelms him.
Every time I try and put any weight on my left leg, I can see my calf bone trying to exit through the skin on the side of my ankle.
Matt's tibia is no longer supported by his ankle, so there's nothing to stop it pushing directly through his skin and out of his leg. Finally, after an agonizing crawl over razor-sharp rocks, Matt's shocked body has had enough. He knows he must try and pitch a tent as soon as he can, or risk freezing to death. He has no idea whether he can manage it. He just knows he has to try.
And just the basics like getting tent pegs in, or even getting the tent flattened out onto the ground into the right shape, I've just rendered 10, 20-fold more difficult when you've only got one hand to work with. I think the adrenaline does the hard work for you. It keeps you going, it doesn't let you stop.
Matt knows if he doesn't build a tent, there's no way he'll cope with the night's freezing temperatures.
Generally holding tent pegs with that broken right hand and then bashing them in with whatever rocks I could find using my left hand. I almost want to vomit from the force of that pain.
Matt's desperate and gritty determination finally results in a shelter. But the 20-meter crawl, followed by the tortuous struggle to pitch his tent, have taken their toll.
I'm asleep almost instantly. I'm exhausted, absolutely exhausted.
But Matt's exhausted sleep is suddenly disturbed. A familiar sound drags him back into consciousness.
It was a great moment. Obviously, an aircraft means possible rescue. As I saw it heading up the valley, I thought, this is my chance.
Over here!
And I'm waving it frantically, you know, over here, over here.
Come on! Come on!
It was a small dot, and I would have been an even smaller dot to them.
Come on!
Chances of me being seen, in hindsight, are very small. But at the time, it was a great belief. Are they going to see me over here? No, no.
The plane's disappearance makes Matt realize that he's just a tiny needle in a giant haystack. He can only hope that tomorrow brings better luck. In his struggle to find a spot to camp, he was forced to crawl through everything in his path, including water. Matt now discovers that his sleeping bag is totally drenched. He realizes he will have to find another way of fighting the cold.
For that first night, one of my big worries was hypothermia. There'd been frosts every night so far on the trip, so it was going to be a very cold night. Probably 3 or 4 degrees below freezing.
Wearing all his clothes is the only solution. But even just trying to get them on is a nightmare, as his bones grind against each other. As Matt prepares to face the bitter hours ahead of him, He knows just clothes won't be enough. He'll need to use anything he can to stay warm. He suddenly has an idea.
Howdy.
2 years before, Matt saved Little Dog from being abandoned. And tonight, LD repays the debt with her body heat. It might make a critical difference.
I got the dog curled up in the middle of a tent, and I used her as a canine hot water bottle. And we lay there and shivered through the night.
It's you and me, boy.
It would have been very, very uncomfortable without the warmth of that dog there. It was cold, it was a bitter night. My body was doing a lot of work repairing itself anyway, and I felt I was shivering all night. I was cold, I was uncomfortable.
Unable to sleep because of cold and constant pain, Matt's thoughts turn to his family and how his young daughter will cope without him. Matt knows that survival depends on staying positive. Self-pity has never been his style.
I was sad that they were going to be concerned. What's everyone going to do if I don't make it out? What's going to happen? I just didn't go there.
Despite a night of freezing temperatures, somehow Matt and Little Dog make it to the morning. But his relief is temporary. He quickly realizes that although he's got enough food for just over a week, it's mostly dried. And Matt has no water left to boil it in.
One of the things I'd actually lost in the fall was my water bottle, so all I had to keep water in was my billy, my cooking pot.
Matt's managed to pitch his tent close to water. Simple for Little Dog to get to, but for him, it will mean enduring unspeakable pain.
It took a long time of lying there thinking about it to get myself up and to go and actually do it. No, yeah, we need water. Let's go and do it. Come on.
But it's not just water for cooking and drinking that Matt needs. Unless he cleans his deep leg wound, he risks serious infection.
It was harder going down, a lot harder, just because it's very hard to slow yourself down and to control your descent with all the broken bones.
Matt's entire concentration is focused on avoiding pain and not losing his cooking pot.
I can't just throw it down to the bottom and then go and find it, because what if it rolls away? What if it gets washed away in the river? I cannot afford to lose this pan.
Matt's had nothing to drink for 24 hours and is seriously dehydrated. His leg dressing has prevented further blood loss, but the wound is now full of cotton fibre and grit from the fall. He must clean it out or risk infection.
It was a very real risk if I didn't do everything I could to avoid it.
Matt doesn't have any antiseptic available to clean his wound. But he has got table salt, which he knows has antibacterial properties. It'll be excruciating, but he has no choice. With a broken wrist and ankle, plus a real risk of gangrene, Matt must somehow endure 6 more days before rescue is likely, or risk dying alone on this mountain. With his wounds treated as best he can, Matt spends an agonizing hour inching back to camp, trying not to spill the water he's just collected.
I had to keep my broken ankle and broken wrist up in the air, because if they hit the ground, then there was agony as a result.
The trip down to the creek is such an ordeal. Matt decides to ration water so that he can avoid the whole agonizing process as much as possible.
I generally got about 2/3 of a pan full. I decided at that stage that no, I was going to try and make water last for 2 days, so I didn't have to go down to this river every day and put myself through that, because all this movement is exacerbating all the injuries.
By eking out his rations of dried food and gritting his teeth through gut-wrenching pain, astonishingly, Matt makes it through the week. And miraculously, the deadline when Matt expects the alarm to be raised has finally arrived.
Cheers, LD. Cheers. We made it.
The note he's left back at work will trigger an emergency response, and the rescue helicopter should arrive within hours. For the first time in a week, Matt's spirits soar.
Absolute elation to be there. You know, I've done it. That's the hardest bit over. I really, really believed I'd done it.
Matt keeps a weather eye out for choppers. He reckons they'll be in the area any time now. But as the hours pass, Matt's elation begins to dampen. After a week of good weather, conditions and visibility start to worsen.
By about 9 o'clock, I was just in solid cloud.
Little dog, come on. It's.
Probably by 10 o'clock, it was absolutely thundering down on the tent.
Matt knows that rescue helicopters will not fly in a storm. He will have to wait. But the longer he waits, the worse the storm gets. Matt's thoughts of rescue are fast giving way to a new and chilling fear.
The creeks on the west coast of New Zealand can rise very, very quickly with that sort of amount of water falling out of the sky.
Within the hour, Matt's worst fears are realised. His tent is pitched just feet from a growing torrent.
The creek next to me had gone from a chuckle, a gurgle, to an absolute roar. The river was rising so fast, it had already come up probably 2 or 3 metres in the previous hour. If it got to where I would have been in trouble.
The swollen creek is now threatening to engulf his tent.
If the force of that water started hitting the tent, I was going to have to get out of there.
And when a deadly rumble pierces the storm, Matt's life is in real danger.
You could hear rocks being washed down this creek. The sound and feeling of the shocks as those boulders hit each other was a terrifying experience.
Gotta get out of here, Alfie.
Matt is desperate to get to higher ground. But he knows that if he crawls outside, his crippled body won't make it.
There was no way I could keep my footing with one good leg in there. It was just no way. I'd have been swept away.
He's trapped, and the stream that was his lifeline could now be his executioner.
Knowing there was nowhere I could go was frightening.
All Matt and Little Dog can do is hold on and pray.
The sun came out and the river started to drop.
Matt is certain that rescue is now only hours away.
I spent the evening just lying there at the door of my tent, ready to jump out and start waving things if anything started flying up the valley.
But back at his shop, Matt's note to raise the alarm has not been read by anyone.
And it was beginning to dawn on me that something's gone wrong here. They should have been out here by now, and they haven't come.
By 6 p.m., the growing horror of his situation becomes clearer. With his provisions running low, and only a question of time before infection sets in somewhere, he knows he must move or face almost certain death.
If I waited any longer and made that decision later, the whole thing was going to be very, very difficult to do. Whereas if I did it now, I could do it. I believed I could do it.
Matt calculates that his only chance is to try and reach a hunter's hut he spotted before his accident. It might have fuel, food, medical supplies, and maybe even people. But it's nearly 1,000 meters below him in the valley. For a man who can barely move, Matt faces the biggest decision of his life.
I'm going to have to do this the hard way.
Reaching the hunter's hut in the valley below is Matt's only chance of rescue. But to get there, he knows he cannot crawl. He must try and walk. But with a smashed wrist, deeply cut leg, and worst of all, a fractured tibia, just standing up will push him to the limits of his endurance.
So I stood there for about 10 seconds. Sort of started to come over a bit dizzy. I sort of collapsed into a heap on the floor. It's like, well, now or never.
But Matt refuses to give up. Somehow he must dig deep.
The dog throughout all this was running ahead and loving it. She was so keen to get out there, probably as keen as I was.
Matt knows his terrible wounds will fight him all the way. The only help he's going to get is from the walking stick he's made from tent poles.
And I was counting paces. I was saying every number I count is one less pace I've got to take.
Another 10. Another 10.
It took a lot to keep going. It really did. Each time I put the weight on the ankle, you'd feel that bone trying to come out through the skin, and it was just a shot of pain right through my body.
Every step is blinding agony, while the morning's heat saps his strength further. His only plan is to stay close to water and keep moving down.
I was very cautious to stay right next to this creek. That was my lifeline.
Matt knows he's heading in the right direction for the hut, but by deciding to follow the creek, he soon hits a problem. He's faced with a choice between two possible routes. LD seems to be immediately keen on going right, but that path is steep and challenging. Matt decides to follow the much gentler downward slope.
Little dog. Oh, come on. Get in here. Trying to get me killed? Come on. Get out of it. Okay. Howdy. Out of it.
Somehow, Matt keeps his body going, dragging his smashed ankle over uneven terrain for 2 hours. But just as he starts thinking he might get out, the mountain springs another surprise.
The mountainside got steeper and steeper until I found myself standing at the top of cliffs dropping off into nothing several hundred meters below. There was no way sideways, there was no way down. The only choice was back the way I'd come. And all the effort I'd put in to get down to where I was, it was going to be spent tenfold getting back up.
By ignoring Little Dog's choice of route, Matt has wasted hours, exacted a terrible toll on his body, and seriously depleted his energy supplies.
I physically could not walk with the injuries I had, so it was back onto elbows and knees. It was probably one of the lowest points. Just the frustration.
Give me a break!
Matt realizes he's past the point of no return, but his route is perilous. The deep infected gash in his leg has taken another brutal hit. If the bleeding starts again, he may not be able to stop it. Matt pushes himself to breaking point, but he knows he must keep going at all costs. Knowing it will take all his energy just to pitch his tent again, Matt decides to rest up for the night and regain his strength. For a 9th night, temperatures plunge below freezing. Little dog's food ran out 2 days ago, and she's finding it harder to fight off the cold, yet she stays with her master.
We spent the night curled up, both of us, at the bottom of the tent. Just knowing that there's this animal there, with you, sticking with me, is a reassuring thing. Kept me going emotionally, just the company of that dog there with me. The worst thing about waking up was those few moments of feeling that actually nothing was wrong. You wake up and your body feels normal. And then finding out that it's as bad as you remember it.
As another day dawns, Matt knows that he must reach the hunter's hut today. With hardly any food left, and his body close to collapse, he could die on the mountain. But to reach the hut, he'll have to get through the worst terrain he could imagine. Thick, mountainous scrub.
It looked like it was going to be very, very hard going. It was just a continuous process of forcing your way, almost swimming over the top of this vegetation. I was just getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
After 3 tortuous hours of struggle, Matt's dreadful injuries are taking their toll, and he's made hardly any progress.
Come on, you mad bomb.
Seeing little dog negotiate the thick scrub so easily gives Matt an idea.
It got to the stage where there was no way of crawling over the top anymore. I was forced to squirm my way underneath.
After hours of gruesome effort and delirious with pain, Matt's made it through the worst of the brutal scrub.
And that was such a relief just to get out of that stuff and into this good going. I mean, I could stand up again and actually walk.
The hut can't be too far ahead now. But to reach it, Matt will have to force his broken limbs down a near vertical slope.
I was determined to reach the bottom of this slope.
Matt knows he's not going to be able to control his descent. Worse, the rocks and branches are going to punch and gouge his terrible wounds. It's a bloody gamble that could cripple him or kill him.
steeper. And so I was using whatever means I could.
Come on.
Pushing his body to the extreme has paid off. Matt is now less than 2 kilometers from the hut. But getting to the valley floor has not come without tremendous cost.
I've done myself a lot of damage coming down this hill. My limbs are useless.
Matt can only hope the worst is behind him. The hut, and possible salvation, is tantalizingly close. But just as Matt finally allows himself to believe that he's made it, his dreams are brutally shattered. A fast, freezing river stands between him and the end of a nightmare.
That was so disheartening. It was so close. But unreachable, just out of reach.
Matt's body has already had to endure more than it can stand. And now, if he wants to live, he'll have to take his shattered bones and horrific wounds into the icy water.
Whether I could swim, whether I could propel myself was my real fear.
Matt makes his decision. He either dies on this bank or gambles his life in one last shot at surviving.
Water was absolutely freezing. All my muscles started to seize up.
Matt is quickly struggling. His weak, damaged body is no match for the fierce, freezing current. He has to fight the current or drown.
It wasn't what I needed. I was trying to swim a river with broken bones.
Matt knows that whether he lives or dies now depends entirely on the river, not on anything he can do.
I felt the main current begin to pull me, and it was dragging me over towards the far bank of the river.
Frozen and horribly maimed, Matt's washed up on shore barely alive. He's had a miraculous escape.
Every muscle in my body had seized. Everything had just stopped working. Very, very, very hard going, just even to move up the riverbank and away from the river. Very hard.
9 days after he was injured, Matt can see the hut. But he finally has to accept that he's probably going to die before he reaches it.
Cheers, LD.
I remember just thinking I might not have very long left here.
It's you and me, boy.
I could not have seen a more beautiful sight than that hunter walking out of that hut.
I got you, mate. I got you. Oh, lie down there.
And that's the moment I know I'm getting out of here. And I can't describe as good a moment as that. I was safe. It was relief. It was joy.
After patching him up as best they can, Matt's rescuers head off on a 13-hour trek to raise the alarm. 12 days after he started his journey, Matt is airlifted to the hospital, where doctors save his leg and rebuild his shattered ankle and wrist with metal pins. 6 months after his horrific experience, Matt is back in the mountains with little Dog.
The experience has made me realise what I value in life and what I don't. Having got out, you appreciate those companions that you have through life so much more.
In the Montana wilderness, 5 friends reunite for an epic adventure. But this trip of a lifetime
Avalanche!
turns into their worst nightmare.
It felt like being hit by a car. It was black and violent. I thought, I'm not going to survive.
In the carnage,
Let's move!
one lies critically injured, while another is buried deep in the snow.
I remember just thinking our friend's gonna die.
Matt, get us a sled.
He's dead.
Cut off from rescue by a powerful storm, they must battle to keep their friend alive.
We were on our hands and knees clawing through the snow.
You have to get there tonight. We gotta take your boot up. The pain came crashing in. I was left wondering if I was the next person to die. One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
On their way to ski the remote backcountry of Montana are friends Matt Schuyler and Sam Kavanagh. Skiing is 25-year-old Sam's greatest obsession.
It was a pretty young age that I fell in love with skiing. I did it every opportunity I had, sometimes 4 or 5 days a week. When you stand on top of a mountain, it's literally like you can hear the clouds moving by, and you're the only person there. Matt shared that love and passion.
That's insane. The forecast was for snow, so not only are we going into a place we love to be, but we're gonna have A+ conditions. It was going to be just perfect.
This trip is a rare chance for Sam and Matt to hang out with their 3 greatest friends. Waiting for them at the trailhead is Sam's closest buddy, Blake Morstad.
Haven't you finished yet? Blake is a special guy. He is amazingly intelligent, and he is a physical powerhouse. He would give you the shirt off his back.
To Matt, Blake is more than a friend. He's also his brother-in-law. The final 2 members of the group are professional mountain guide Jason Thompson and emergency medical technician Chris Mackey.
We were all very excited about the skiing, but I think the overwhelming thing was just being excited to just be hanging out with the guys again.
I don't want to get stuck up there with you.
It's New Year's Eve, and to celebrate, the friends are heading out to ski virgin powder in one of Montana's most isolated areas.
It was extremely remote. We couldn't get emails. We couldn't get cell phone contact. But the whole idea of the trip was to go out and get some great powder skiing and have a blast doing it.
Their destination? The untouched slopes of the legendary Mount Nemesis. The The mountain is famous for powder skiing and notorious for deadly avalanches. But the men have come prepared.
A high avalanche danger to us is not a stop. It just means you need to be on your A game. Each and every one of us carried a personal beacon and all the tools necessary to extract somebody from an avalanche. We were not a group of punk kids that watched some ski video and said, we're gonna go do that. We regularly ski similar conditions, and we were making good, solid judgments.
Come on, guys, we're losing light.
At the base of the mountain, the group ditch their snowmobiles and prepare to ski to their retreat. But to Blake, this is just another great adventure.
Blake was kind of like a young kid in a candy store.
First beer's on me.
And it was like, this is already off to a perfect start.
The friends have skied 8 kilometers cross-country to their base camp. They're now all set to see in the new year.
Happy New Year!
But Blake is celebrating something much more life-changing.
Okay, guys, I have a special announcement. Addie's pregnant. I'm gonna be a dad.
Wow, good luck to that! It was a pretty momentous moment.
Good work, man.
Hey, congratulations.
Blake suddenly was gonna have a little man looking up to him and exploring life for the first time. And so we took out the personal video camera. And I remember Blake toasting his wife.
Hey, Addie, I love you. I look forward to seeing Junior pretty soon here, too.
Happy New Year, Addie!
We all fully expected that next year we'd be celebrating the craziness that was 2005.
On New Year's Day, there was well over 2 to 3 feet of new snow.
See you later, guys.
It was just perfect.
The skiing was phenomenal, so we were stoked.
That first morning, we strictly skied in the trees because conditions for an avalanche were perfect.
A heavy snowfall has piled a huge load of powder snow high on the mountain slopes. Skiing too close to this fresh snowpack could trigger a lethal avalanche.
That morning, we were extremely sensitive to our surroundings. But towards the tail end of the day, we started to push the envelope.
Up there?
Yeah.
We started moving slightly higher, but in doing that, we were unconsciously taking more risk.
In their search for the perfect run, the young friends inch ever higher up the slopes, closer to the heavily loaded snowpack.
Let's do it. Yeah!
See you down there.
Finally, only Matt and his brother-in-law Blake are left up top.
You all right?
Go ahead.
He skied off. And that was the last time that I saw him.
300 meters down the mountain, Sam and Chris have finished the run.
There was just genuine excitement. Chris pulls out the camera and he looks at me, he's like, so Sam,
What'd you think?
That was awesome. But, gotta tell you, I'm exhausted.
As Chris powered down the camera, suddenly you could just hear this distant, faint noise. And I heard Jason yelling out,
Avalanche!
hear the word avalanche, there is just a sudden cold shiver that runs up your spine.
A terrifying wall of snow, weighing thousands of tons, is heading their way. Upslope, Jason is its first victim.
Right next to me was a tree. I grabbed it. I started to feel the snow vibrate. What I experienced, I can only imagine, is like being hit by a car. My world, the world that I knew it to be, had completely evaporated. And I was now being subject to something that was not going to spit me out until it was done with me.
It's a big impact when a wall of snow hits you at 100 miles an hour. It's like being tossed around like a rag doll.
All of a sudden, I was being tossed and turned, not knowing which way was up or down. It was black, it was violent, and I thought, I'm not going to survive.
To his horror, Chris Mackey realizes that the avalanche is sweeping him towards a dangerous precipice.
I knew that there was a fairly large cliff below me. There was also nothing I could do about it.
The nature of the terrain means that the sound of the avalanche hasn't reached 24-year-old Matt Schuyler up above. He's unaware of the disaster unfolding beneath him.
From my vantage point, I couldn't see anything, and I didn't hear anything.
He's waiting for Blake to shout that the way is clear for his run.
I was waiting for someone to yell, "Go ahead," and I waited and waited and waited, and I finally started yelling down,
Hello? Hello? Hello?
So I just kind of thought, I'll just go down there and see what's going on. And I just thought,
The avalanche has decimated the mountainside. Matt knows that down below his friends could be dead or dying.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
I thought everybody could be buried at this point. As far as I knew, I was the only one left.
Jason! Chris and Blake! Hello! Hello! Jason! Jason!
When I saw Jason, there was relief that there was somebody else with me.
Jason, are you okay? Yeah, are you okay?
Professional mountain guide Jason Thompson has freed himself from the avalanche. But he knows that buried under the suffocating snow, his friends have only minutes to live.
Let's move!
Jason told me to flip my beacon on and start figuring out where everyone was at.
Each one of the 5 is carrying a beacon that emits a signal to indicate their location, even if they are deep beneath the snow.
We got 3 people we have to dig up and get breathing again.
We got 10 minutes, max.
We have very limited time.
You take this side, I'll take over here. Blake! Chris! Blake! Chris! Blake!
Down the mountain, Sam Kavanagh slowly regains consciousness.
Moments ago, I was in the clutches of the avalanche. And there I am. I had floated to the top, and I'm only partially buried. The first person I could see was Chris.
Are you okay?
He's shooken, scared, but alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Somehow, Despite being thrown over the cliff edge, Chris Mackey has also survived.
There's so much snow, and it's so powerful, I didn't even feel it. There was probably 2 seconds of weightlessness and then just a soft landing. There's a lot of adrenaline, realizing, wow, I'm okay. And then freed myself, turned on my transceiver to look for anyone else that could have been buried.
I could hear Jason and Matt upslope yelling out our names. I'm elated, you know?
Here. Yeah, here. Here.
Chris and Jason are okay. And I knew that Matt was okay because he's yelling out our names.
Miraculously, 4 of the friends are alive and accounted for.
Blake!
But Sam's best friend Blake is missing.
Blake?
Suddenly, it's not over. It's not okay.
Blake? Blake! Blake! Blake!
We have to find someone who's unconscious, buried, and we don't know where he is.
Blake!
It started to kick in.
Blake!
He's my brother-in-law, and he's buried somewhere.
Blake!
Blake has now been buried for several long minutes. Not only is his body being crushed by the compacted snow, he's rapidly running out of oxygen.
And I was thinking, we're gonna kill this guy if we don't find him, you know, because this is taking us too long.
Blake! 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 Blake!
At the exact same moment, Jason and I both picked up the faintest signal on our beepers. We didn't even say anything, just pointed. The signal started getting stronger and stronger. It's going 40, 30, 20, and I start saying out loud, 15.
10. Bring it 9. 8.
All of a sudden, I could see the top of the backpack.
Over there.
Now that Blake has been located, it's critical they get to him and clear an airway, fast,
Start from below.
before he dies from lack of oxygen.
We're trying to get to his head to get him breathing.
Using their avalanche shovels, they start to dig. But the snow has become heavily compacted in the slide.
It was very frustrating. It was like digging up concrete. I threw my shovel aside and was just digging with my hands. I remember just thinking, we're losing him.
Come on, Blake!
He's right here, but we can't get him out.
Come on, Blake! Come on, Blake! Come on, Blake!
It was very frustrating how difficult the digging was.
Come on!
I just felt helpless.
30 meters away, Sam Kavanagh struggles to free himself from the imprisoning snow
Blake!
and helps save his best friend.
I started trying to move around, and I felt this pretty intense pain. And that's when I finally looked down. My foot was facing 180 degrees behind me. And there was about 4 inches of my tibia bone sticking through my ski pants.
Despite his horrific injury, Sam is desperate to help Blake. But first, he will have to do the unthinkable.
And so I really just tried to prepare myself. I grabbed it, I spun it 180 degrees. And I tried to stand and walk and shuffle my way down the slope to find Blake.
Hearing the screams, EMT Chris realizes Sam is also in trouble.
I looked up and saw that he was in a very tenuous situation.
Sam, how you doing there, buddy? You okay? My leg's busted. I think it's really bad. Come on!
This is just shocking. There was a very big laceration on the side of his leg and quite a bit of bone sticking out.
It's gonna be okay, Sid. It's gonna be okay.
It's certainly the worst compound fracture I'd seen to that point.
Okay.
Chris is suddenly pushed to the limits of his training. He knows that an injury this severe, so far from civilization, could prove fatal.
We just need to get Sam stabilized, try to control the bleeding, and get him off of the slope. But we were still right in the middle of dealing with Blake.
We got him out!
Finally, after being buried for almost 10 minutes, Blake Morstad is pulled from his icy tomb.
At first, I thought he's just passed out. We'll revive him. Couple pumps and he'll cough up some snow and we'll get out of here.
Blake has no life signs. Compressing his chest will simulate his heartbeat, pumping blood round his body and keeping his brain alive.
Man, come on. Pump his chest. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Jason had me pushing on his chest and he's saying,
Harder, go harder.
Break a rib if you have to. I remember being really frustrated, thinking we're losing him.
They did CPR for a few minutes and they yelled up, "It's not going well."
Chris, we need you down here. Keep the pressure on here, buddy, okay? Stay calm. I'll be back, all right? Okay.
I raced down through the debris.
Have you seen any signs of life? Okay, let me take
Blake was white, maybe even a little blue, and not responsive at all.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
You're relying on your training, but it's a struggle.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
This is not a rubber mannequin. This is your friend, and he's not doing well.
15.
In the back of my head, I knew he was dead. But you continue just out of hope, because this is Blake, you know.
I remember just looking at Jason and he was just like, this is done. He's dead. And I just thought, wow.
"30 meters away, the terrible truth about his best friend is slowly dawning on Sam.
I just waited for this physically dominating man to stand up and take care of me. I saw 3 people stand up, and one wasn't Blake. That's when my world came crashing, and I was left wondering if I was the next person to die.
Expectant father Blake Morstad lies dead in the snow.
That's a tough realization, but he was gone. There was nothing more that we could do for him, and that was fairly apparent. As a group, we just knew that our focus needed to shift to Sam.
Guys, I'm getting really cold up here.
The 5th friend, 25-year-old Sam Kavanagh, has suffered a horrific leg injury and is losing blood. Young EMT Chris Mackey knows he must work fast or watch a second friend die.
I was very concerned for Sam. He was in and out of shock, which was kind of hard to assess. He had lost an incredible amount of blood.
He's in shock. His body temperature is plummeting, and he risks hypothermia.
I was becoming extremely cold. I couldn't formulate thoughts very well. And there was literally a voice in my head that said, if you want to escape the vicious, vicious pain, my body said, all you gotta do is close your eyes.
After losing his brother-in-law, Matt Schuyler is determined not to let Sam die too.
I remember him shaking me out of this trance. He's like, Sam?
You're going back to Sarah. You're going home to your wife.
For him to put me in that position of fighting for something that was so important to me, at that moment, I had a reason to survive.
It's essential to get Sam warmth and shelter fast. But base camp is a kilometer away across rough terrain.
Matt, get us a sled, okay?
Matt ran back and grabbed a toboggan to get Sam back to the hut. Before I could move him, I had to splint his leg.
Splinting Sam's leg will close his wound and should slow the blood loss. But it also means grinding his broken bones back together.
This is gonna hurt, all right?
Sam's a tough kid, but doing that with no pain control.
3. Yeah. 1, 2.
It's about as painful as it gets.
3!
By nightfall, the men begin their short trip back to camp, but soon realize that Sam faces a grueling journey. The deep snow and level terrain mean that the sled keeps sinking.
We were on our hands and knees, just clawing through the snow. We were working as hard as I've ever worked doing anything.
We were just going 10 steps at a time. And we'd just fall over, do it again. It just took forever to cover any ground.
As the group struggles on, the temperature plummets to well below freezing, and Sam begins to show signs of hypothermia.
Despite it being 0 degrees out, I was sweating bullets. I was shaking uncontrollably. Multiple times, Matt and Jason bundled up around me, just trying to stabilize me.
Sam!
There was times where he just wouldn't really respond, and we would shake him awake.
Sam, you stay with us, buddy, okay? Hey, don't go to sleep, buddy.
It was a critical situation, for sure.
Finally, after 2.5 hours out in the bitter cold, the group gets Sam into the shelter of base camp.
Once we got back, there was a sense of relief.
Easy, easy. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, easy.
You're percent.
Okay. Yo, Matt, give me that water.
But EMT Chris Mackey knows that the journey may have done untold damage to Sam's shattered leg.
It's at that point where we needed to look again at his leg, and I knew the boot needed to come off.
Okay, Sam, that's gonna hurt.
I tried to prepare Sam for the pain that he was going to be going through.
I want you to bite down on this for me, and we're gonna get this done, okay? Yeah?
He bed down on a rag, and we slowly, precariously started to remove his boot.
Okay, go, come on.
You have to imagine my leg is only currently being held on by the very back muscle. And I remember yelling out,
"Just rip it off now!"
It was pain that it takes your breath away. It leaves you gasping for air.
Okay.
It was like nothing I've ever experienced, nor do I ever want to experience that again.
Now that the boot is off, Chris can finally see the severity of Sam's injury and its deadly implications.
This is just shocking. Sam was bleeding internally to the point of it being fatal, if not controlled. And there was really nothing we could do to stop the bleeding.
Sam needs immediate surgery. But high on the mountain, there's no mobile phone signal to call for rescue. And it's far too dangerous to ski out in the dark. All the friends can do is watch over Sam and pray he lasts the night.
The decision that we made as a group was to wait till first light. And we took rotations staying up with Sam.
And as the hours drag by, the friends' thoughts turn to Blake, who only hours ago was still among them.
We were all mourning Blake. It was unsettling knowing that your friend was lying out there in the dark, in the snow, alone.
Sam Kavanagh has survived the night, but is fading fast. By now, he's lost over a third of his blood and is in dire need of a transfusion. His friends must summon help immediately.
Camp started getting a little busy. Matt and Chris are up, getting ready for the trip out. And that's when we started going through packs. And realizing we didn't have all the stuff that we needed.
Spare ski poles. They're in Blake's pack.
Without ski poles, it will be impossible for them to reach civilization. But going back to revisit their dead friend is a task no one wants to complete.
I'll go. You wait here.
I followed our tracks up from the night before. I was a bit hesitant because it was like a bad dream at that point. And seeing the evidence of the avalanche made it all very real again. Found Blake. Searched around and grabbed some ski poles. It's a very odd thing to say, I realize. It was one of the most beautiful things I'd seen in my life. The violence of the day before had been replaced. It was very quiet. It was just me. Just me and Blake at that point. So it was a very special moment.
You ready? Hang in there, young.
We skied as fast as we could.
For 4 hours, they ski through dangerous avalanche terrain. Finally, they make it to the base of the mountain, where they left their snowmobiles. From here, They're just an hour's drive from mobile phone contact with the outside world.
And the one thing you need to happen is that snow machine starting.
We couldn't get the stupid thing to start.
It's dead.
It was a nightmare.
The snowmobiles belong to Sam, and Matt and Chris aren't sure how to get them started.
We tried different ways of starting it. We kicked it, we cursed at it, we cajoled it.
Without a snowmobile, they face a cross-country ski that could take as long as a day. High on the mountain, the situation is rapidly worsening. A storm front is closing in, and if it hits, any helicopter rescue will become impossible.
The weather was changing. That started to raise a red flag. I was really worried and concerned for my life. I didn't like the occasional whiff or smell that I would get from the decaying flesh. I knew that the life was slipping from me. But you have to hope that it's not over. My time wasn't done. I wasn't finished.
Down at the base of the mountain, Matt is still grappling with how to start Sam's snowmobile.
Sam is in a life and death situation. Nobody even knows.
We just couldn't delay anymore.
Chris decides he has no choice but to ski on.
As I'm out in the middle of this big field, I hear the snow machine, belch to life. And that frustration and anxiety quickly melted away.
Once they emerge from the shadow of the mountain, Chris fires up his mobile phone.
The first time we got half a bar, we called search and rescue.
Hello? Look, my friend needs urgent medical attention. Yeah, okay, but hurry.
I distinctly remember talking with the head of the search and rescue.
Yeah.
He was very professional. He asked the right questions, and I said,
If ever you needed a helicopter, yeah, this is now.
Suddenly you hear this very faint thud, and it kind of drew a little closer, And then Jason came in, he's like, man, there's a helicopter.
They're coming.
And you could hear this helicopter closer and closer as if it's just right over our head. I'm elated. They're coming to rescue us. This is it. Then the helicopter would faint and it would go away.
Please! Come back!
We didn't know what was going on. Could they not see us? Because we could clearly see them. And Jason said,
they're coming straight back. I'm sure of it.
And the helicopter flew over, you could hear the rotors. And then they got a little quieter, and they disappeared. And it just went dead silent.
30 kilometers away, Chris and Matt have made it back to the safety of their truck, where news of the aborted rescue attempt is filtering through.
Search and rescue kept saying, we can't do this, it's not gonna happen. They were in the middle of a snowstorm. There was 60 inches of new snow. They just couldn't land, just couldn't happen. I remember Chris just telling him,
our friend is gonna die. You have to get there tonight.
I thought it was very likely that we were gonna come out of this with 2 people dead.
The rescue helicopter can't try again till daybreak, and the mood at camp is desperate.
There was anger, but I just had to try to make it to tomorrow.
But by now, Sam's leg is starting to decompose. And with no antibiotics to stop the spread of poisonous toxins, his organs are starting to shut down.
I needed to go to the bathroom, and I was trying to pee into a plastic juice jug.
Jason.
And so I talked Jason into letting me sit upright. And as soon as I swung my leg down, it was literally like somebody had opened a faucet. And the stench of decaying blood and bacteria-infested flesh was just compounding the fact that this was unsurvivable. I was scared and I was fearful. I had reached my limit.
In the backcountry wilderness of Montana, search and rescue air crews are grounded by a fierce snowstorm. 2,000 meters up, Chris Mackey and Matt Schuyler have battled their way back to camp, where 24 hours ago, they left critically injured Sam Kavanagh fighting for his life.
When Matt and I arrived, there was a big relief that Sam was still with us. But he was in a very tenuous situation.
How are you, buddy? Hanging in there?
He had lost an incredible amount of blood. I'm not going to venture how much longer he could have lasted, but we were pushing that limit, I think. I knew that we were racing against time to get him to hospital.
It's a desperate dilemma. Any attempt to drag Sam down the mountain would trigger further blood loss and probably kill him. His only hope of survival is an airlift, but rescue helicopters can't land in the deep snow around the camp.
Matt, come with me, okay?
I remember Chris said, if you want a helicopter to come in here, start stepping on snow and make a helipad. I knew if the helicopter couldn't land, we were taking out a dead body.
It's early afternoon, and the storm rages on. But then a glimmer of hope. A medical team have fought their way through the blizzard. They'll try to stabilize Sam until the helicopter can land.
To have that level of expertise there was a big relief. They had antibiotics and some pain medication, and medically pretty much took over.
I was happy to at least be seen by a doctor for the first time. But when he opened up the bandage, he was shocked by the smell, by the infection, by the decomposition of the tissue.
By now, the decomposing tissue is so poisonous, Sam's condition has reached critical. A decision is made. Despite the risk, the friends will have to drag Sam down the mountain. It's a desperate strategy.
Okay, Sam. I'm gonna drag you out, okay?
The whole group collectively began wrapping me in the sleeping bag. At that point, my injury was so bad, the probability of me dying halfway out was pretty high.
1, 2, 3.
I think there was a real concern that I may not be able to survive.
I don't know, but then it was just like, this is a nightmare. We just couldn't lie there and watch him die.
Okay, ready? Let's go.
Wait. Suddenly, we got word that the helicopter pilots were going to give it one more try.
Chopper's coming back.
We immediately started going to this makeshift landing zone that Chris and Matt had stomped out with their skis. Suddenly, you hear the helicopter flying in, and it's getting louder, and it's getting louder, and it's getting louder. And now you can feel the wind and the rotor wash and crystals of snow hitting your face. For the first time in 48 hours, I didn't feel pain. I was taken away from that, and I was rescued.
Chris Mackey went on to study medicine, graduating from medical school in 2010. Today he works as a hospital doctor in North Dakota. Matt Schuyler still lives and works in Montana, where he has 3 young children. Jason Thompson continues mountain guiding around the world. Sam Kavanagh was flown to hospital, where following an emergency operation on his shattered leg, doctors forecast a further 3 years of reconstructive surgery. 2 weeks later, Sam opted to have the limb amputated. Today, he works in Montana as a civil engineer and cycles for the US Paralympic team.
I've become an exceptional biker. I walk in the mountains. I run around with my daughter and my wife. The whole experience has taught me to live life and to love life. But it's emotional to think of losing Blake. Not just because he was a great guy, it was because he left a part of him in my heart. It's great to know that I've had people in my life have that impact on me, because I know ultimately that makes me a better person.
On their first date, 2 climbers scale one of Europe's toughest mountains. But the romantic adventure they hope will bring them together tears them apart.
This mountain has become a complete demon.
We need to move, all right?
All hell is just breaking loose around my head.
Trapped inside a violent electrical storm, they must rely on each other to survive.
It's an utterly desperate situation.
I'm thinking we're not going to survive.
Jeremy!
be here with you than anyone else.
The Precipice Mountain. Standing at 3,300 meters, its razor-sharp ridge forms the border between the Swiss and Italian Alps.
People come from all four corners of the globe to do this climb and to test themselves on this mountain.
Infamous for extreme weather, it's a climb as treacherous as it is breathtaking. And even for professional mountain climbers, like Rachel Kelsey and Jeremy Colenso, it is the climb of a lifetime.
We started at 5 in the morning. Our aim was to get up and down the climb in a day.
That was fun. It was a wonderful feeling because we just moved so quickly and easily up this mountain. I was just so excited. You know, here I am doing a climb that I really want to do. And not only that, but I'm doing it with this very good-looking chap who I fancy.
Just great to be there with someone who's both a climbing partner, but also someone who you're becoming very fond of.
I was quite attracted to his quiet but confident nature.
Climbing.
I really liked a sense of adventure and just relaxed personality.
This romantic adventure is actually Rachel and Jeremy's first real date. The couple only got to know each other a few months ago while climbing in Great Britain.
We did a couple of local climbs together, and at this point I decided that I quite liked him.
We sort of hit it off, really, and a climbing partnership stroke friendship developed.
And then he said, "Would you like to come to Italy with me?" I was totally bowled over, you know, taken aback. I had all these romantic visions of Italy and floating down the river on a gondola. But it very quickly became apparent that he was actually inviting me to go and do a climb. We planned and prepared meticulously. We looked at guidebooks, we got maps of the route. We worked out exactly what equipment we'd take. These little rucksacks hold about 20 litres, and in it we have just the essentials we'll need to succeed in this climb. So I have my waterproof jacket, an extra fleece, our hydration packs, the map of the route, and then we've got a couple of other things. One of them is a survival shelter and my mobile phone. And I remember tossing it up and down in my hand and thinking, shall I take this? Something just makes me think, oh, well, I'll just put it in. I can carry that extra weight.
Jeremy and Rachel are ascending the Precipice's mighty North Ridge. The grueling climb up and then down the mountain should take them 14 hours. Weather permitting, their plan is to be back at base camp well before nightfall.
We were making incredibly good time. We didn't feel like we were rushing. We felt like it was just going really well. Jeremy is ahead, the rope's leading down to me. And I get to this point where I pull over onto this boulder. The whole thing wobbles. My heart just leaps into my throat.
You all right?
These moments when things nearly go terribly wrong, You have to just take a few deep breaths and recollect yourself and then keep going.
If you're not scared at all on a climb, it's probably not the right challenge for you.
2 hours later, and Jeremy and Rachel have overcome the most technically challenging part of the climb. Now, over 3,000 meters up the North Ridge, the couple are only minutes from the summit.
We reach a point where there's a bit of snow. I'm feeling completely excited. We're in spitting distance of the top of this climb. The sun is out. It's just a wonderful, fresh afternoon, and it seems perfect.
But with only 30 meters to go, they face a crushing blow.
I could see that the rock had become like an icy pavement. But if you turn that pavement vertically and then try and climb it, you get an idea of what you're confronted with.
They didn't expect to face ice, so haven't brought the equipment needed to climb it safely.
We were probably 30 vertical meters from the summit, but I realized that that was the end of our climb.
That's okay, yeah?
Yeah.
There is a feeling of disappointment there. There definitely is. But there's no time for that. You just need to prepare with the next section and get on with it. And the next section's getting down.
But unable to reach the summit, Rachel and Jeremy can't see a massive electrical storm that's brewing in the valley beyond.
Jeremy's working with the ropes to try and sort them out for the abseil. I look out into the valley below. And I notice these clouds swirling in. At the same time, I feel a sharp drop in the temperature. And I just know inside that this is heralding a storm, and we've got to get out now.
Jeremy, I think we better stop moving.
I can hear wind, which is like, it sounds like a freight train coming at you. And I realised the weather's turning.
Hi. Yeah, let's go.
Jeremy and Rachel know it's simply too dangerous to stay on the mountain.
So quickly we just get out our head torches, put them onto our helmets. We throw on our waterproofs and get ourselves prepared, basically for the worst.
They must rappel down before the storm unleashes its full fury.
And then there's this huge crack of thunder and the whole sky lights up with this incredible pink lightning.
We need to move, all right?
My heart begins to pound because 90% of accidents in the mountains happen on the descent, not the ascent.
And now they must attempt the perilous descent in the midst of a raging storm.
On a good day, with clear skies, descending down this mountain is a tricky task for an experienced climber. In a storm, it's just a nightmare.
Seeing the flash and hearing the clap of thunder simultaneously, we know that the storm is right on top of us. We are surrounded by metal, and we've got every chance of being hit by a bolt of lightning.
After 3 hours, they're not even a quarter of the way down. And as the light fades, the temperature plummets to -7 Celsius.
I'm suddenly aware of this sort of static feeling in the air, like the air is charged.
Jeremy's a very calm person, but I can see in his eyes that he looks worried. And I know that if he's worried, it's the time to be worried.
I've never been so terrified in my life.
And suddenly there's a huge explosion. I'm thinking we're not going to survive. It's incredibly hard not to panic whilst all hell is just breaking loose around my head.
In the heart of the storm, lightning is striking all around them.
Every time I hear the thunder crash, I think, is that me? Is that me? I don't know exactly how many abseils we've done. All I know is that we've been what feels like hours. Jeremy's setting off in the next abseil, and I just think there's something not right here.
I abseiled past this block, and the rope catches behind the corner of the block. And I can't get the rope out.
It suddenly all clicks.
Jeremy!
This is that really wobbly boulder that we passed on the way up. And his rope has slipped right around it.
Rachel realizes that pulling the rope free risks dislodging the giant boulder teetering above Jeremy's head.
And I shout to him,
Don't flick your rope! Jeremy! Don't flick your rope!
he can't hear me. The storm is so loud, he can't hear me.
Jeremy has no idea that a quarter of a ton of rock, only meters from his head, is loosening with every single tug.
I hear this huge, terrible sound as it bounces down the mountain. There's no way he could have survived it.
Rachel fears that Jeremy has been swept off the mountain.
Eventually, I opened my eyes. It was a huge rush of relief and surprise to see him there.
I look up at Rachel. She's looking down at me, and I go, that missed me by that much. If it had hit me, that would have been me. I would have been dead.
He was ashen-faced and had these huge white eyes.
And I can't believe this just happened.
And then he just put his head down and carried on abseiling.
Jeremy knows that if they are to survive, they must continue down the mountain. But the storm is intensifying.
Now I felt like our days were numbered, our minutes were numbered, and I just knew it wasn't a case of if, it was a case of when. But I had no choice but to go on.
As they press on, Jeremy and Rachel face a new challenge.
It's becoming increasingly difficult to find the features that we passed on the way up.
We pulled out our guidebook and we tried to work out where we were, and we just couldn't.
Can you see this? Here. Okay? Look for that.
You're now looking at a different mountain, a different ridge to the one that you ascended.
Unable to see any landmarks, Rachel and Jeremy are lost. In this perilous terrain, choosing the wrong route could spell the difference between life and death.
We're now at a decision-making point.
What do you reckon?
I pointed down and he nodded.
All right. I hope you're right, eh?
Unable to see what lies below, they could be rappelling straight over a precipice. Jeremy insists on going first.
The last thing I remember seeing was the red hood and his head torch. And then I was alone. And it was very, very frightening.
I find myself on the lip of an overhang. As soon as I descend over the lip, I'm hanging in space. Below, there's a black, inky void.
I had no way of knowing whether this was the right way. And it was too late to call him back. I had to just wait.
I'm thinking, okay, I've tied a knot in the end of the ropes, but what if I get to the end of them and I still haven't touched down? The only way out of here is to descend.
Jeremy has only 30 meters of rope left, but the void below could be hundreds of meters. After 30 long minutes, there is still no signal from Jeremy. And knowing the dangers that surround them, Rachel fears for his life.
I had a horrible feeling that he'd been struck by lightning.
Jeremy!
Or else he was stuck with no way back up and no way down. The lightning was still just lighting up things, and I noticed these lumps above me. These were actually pitons, which had been banged in a line. Suddenly I knew exactly where we were.
The position of the pitons tells Rachel they've strayed from the main ridgeline.
Jeremy! Jeremy!
And Jeremy is now descending into a 600-meter void with just 30 meters of rope.
Jeremy!
We must have gone 10 meters, of course, if that. And yet, the ramifications could spell the end for us.
With no sign of her climbing partner, Rachel fears that Jeremy has been killed by a boulder fall or a lightning strike.
I felt hopeless. He's heavier than me. I couldn't possibly haul him back up. And yet the only way we were going to get off this mountain was using the ropes. And if he was hanging on the ropes, there's no way I could use them. I would have had no option but to actually sever the rope.
She faces an unthinkable dilemma. Stay here, roped to a dead man, and face a slow death, or contemplate cutting the rope and escape.
I was just praying. I was absolutely praying and hoping that I wouldn't have to do it.
But down below, Jeremy is actually still alive. He's reaching the end of his rope, with nearly 600 meters of clear air still below him.
My gut feeling was that we made the wrong decision. I need to go back up the ropes.
It's a desperate blow. Jeremy has rappelled down 30 meters. He's exhausted, but his only option is to climb back up. Muscles aching, he attaches a mechanical ascending device called a Jumar and starts to haul himself up, meter by agonizing meter.
I'm doing these pull-ups whilst being battered by this 70-mile-an-hour wind. It's just horrendous.
I was really afraid. Here was the weight of his body on the rope, but I didn't know if I'd ever be talking to him again.
I can feel my biceps and my abdominal muscles, everything clenching. It's like for every 2 feet that I go up, I slide 1 foot back down the rope.
Rachel knows that time is running out. Unaware that Jeremy is climbing back up the rope, she prepares to make the toughest decision of her life.
After half an hour, I thought, I've actually got to go and deal with this.
Even if Jeremy is dead, Rachel decides she cannot cut the rope. Instead, she risks her own life by going to look for him.
I leaned back and I remember looking down and seeing this bright beam of light. It was Jeremy's head torch. I just couldn't believe it. I felt like it was the most wonderful moment of my life. And I just completely forgot about the storm and where we were, and I gave them this massive hug.
So pleased to see you.
You okay? I was just so glad to be back.
The reunion brings home what they now mean to each other. But still, 3,000 meters up a storm-lashed mountain, Rachel and Jeremy remain in grave danger. If they're to survive the freezing night, the next challenge is to find shelter. And their only hope is to reach a small ledge 20 meters away.
I'll go first, and then you follow, all right? Okay, sit back here.
We've been through hell. Now we've landed on this ledge. But it's halfway up the mountain.
Thanks to their meticulous preparations, Rachel and Jeremy have packed a lightweight survival sheet. It's now all that stands between them and the bone-chilling force of the storm.
You okay? Yeah.
As soon as you stop moving, you can feel how cold it is. By calculations, -10. With that sort of wind, it's -25.
I'm now shivering uncontrollably. My fingers had gone completely white and were starting to freeze with frostbite.
We need to warm our hands and feet every hour, okay?
To prevent frostbite, The couple must restore blood circulation immediately.
This is gonna hurt.
Just do it.
It's an incredibly painful experience as the blood starts circulating back. The feeling is like sticking your hand into a burning flame and leaving it there.
As the night progresses, temperatures plummet to life-threatening levels. Trapped 3,000 meters up the mountain, the couple now face a battle to survive.
It was apparent how close we were to becoming severely hypothermic.
The couple know that as hypothermia takes hold, the decreased oxygen flow to the brain will cause drowsiness, then death. It's vital they stay awake.
If one of us had gone to sleep, it would have been far too tempting for the other one just to have a few minutes as well and then not wake up.
In this situation, your climbing partner is your biggest asset.
We both have to stay awake and motivate each other to keep going for as long as it takes.
After 20 hours on the mountain, Rachel and Jeremy are physically exhausted.
Hey, you need some energy. Have a drink.
They know that if they're to last the night, they must replenish lost energy.
Neither of us have drunk in hours because we've been focusing on getting through the storm. So we pull out our liquid carbohydrate packs, which are now just solid ice. And we try to warm them up. It makes no difference at all. Our bodies are too cold to defrost these in the slightest. It's a huge blow to our morale.
Jeremy and Rachel now face the longest night of their lives.
It's too frightening for me to think about what on earth is going to happen next. I reckoned we had about a 30% chance of survival.
You're 3,000 meters up, it's minus 25 outside. I mean, it's an utterly desperate situation.
I was sitting back and I felt this lump. And then suddenly something dawned on me. This lump was my mobile phone. I was overjoyed.
Turn it on.
I just thought, this is it. And then almost at that same instant, I thought, don't get excited. Because I couldn't bear the thought of just another thing going wrong.
I wasn't expecting it to work. I just figured it's too cold, that battery's going to be dead. And I didn't expect it to have any reception.
I just prayed, I just thought, please, please.
Yeah!
It was just like a golden moment. A couple of bars of battery life and then 3 bars of reception.
This connection to the outside world is an unexpected but crucial lifeline.
I guess we better call search and rescue.
Yeah.
Okay. This was our chance. If we wait, it could be too late. I couldn't get through.
It's the right number. I know it's the right number.
Try it again.
Unable to call for help, Rachel realizes that the storm must be interfering with the signal on her mobile phone.
I don't know if this will work, but let's try an SMS.
Then we decided that we were going to send a text message to one of our most reliable friends.
Try Avery. No?
Keep it simple.
We wrote, need heli rescue, Northridge, Pisbadil, Switzerland. And then we pressed the send button. And it was like sending a prayer. The last chance of someone finding out that we were there before it was too late for us.
We turned off the phone to conserve the battery power. The focus is now on surviving.
While sending the message has given them hope, there is still no respite from the storm.
We were aiming for dawn, and we didn't know what dawn had to hold because, if anything, the storm just appeared to be getting worse.
Through sheer determination, Rachel and Jeremy have managed to survive the night.
It went from being black to grey outside, but daylight had no bearing on the temperature.
Each time the wind blows out, little ice crystals come and shower your body. We were becoming cocooned in ice, and literally our clothing was starting to freeze onto our body. I felt completely exhausted, just shattered. Every now and again, lightning would strike. At that point, I thought, if the lightning hits us, it hits us. At least it will be quick.
There's no way we can descend. It would have been a suicide mission.
Exhausted and hypothermic, trying to rappel off the storm-lashed mountain is impossible.
Right. Let's see if we got an SMS.
I switched on the phone and we took a deep breath. And then we heard that sound. It was from Avery. He said, I'm on the case.
Rachel's close friend, Avery Cunliffe, has received the message and contacted the emergency services.
It really gave me hope that there were now people out there who knew our situation, understood it, and were on the case.
But until the weather improves, any rescue attempt is out of the question. After 10 long hours, a break in the storm offers the climbers a glimmer of hope.
And then we hear a tiny, tiny sound over the wind.
Do you hear that?
Sort of whop, 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 and you can't tell if it's the wind or a helicopter. And then it gets louder and you become more and more definite, more and more clear that, yes, this is the helicopter.
Over here!
And I can see the helicopter, and I jump up and down with the shelter in my hand, and Jeremy stands there with his hands up. There was complete relief and elation.
We're out of here, you know, it's all over. This nightmare's going to end.
And I can see the pilot. And it's like he's so close, I can actually touch him. I'm waiting for this man or this rope to come out of the helicopter, and it doesn't happen.
We see this helicopter just being tossed about like a cork on the ocean, you know, up and down, left and right. And I just look at this and go, you know, there's no way. It's just suicide from their point of view.
Trying to extract the couple in these weather conditions risks crashing the helicopter into the mountainside, killing Rachel and Jeremy, as well as the crew.
It's devastating. They were just so close, and yet a world apart from us. Jeremy hugged me and he said,
Hey, you know where we are, all right? They'll get to us. Don't worry, all right? They know where we are.
I had to say the right things, but I knew deep down that we were going nowhere.
As dusk falls, Rachel and Jeremy face another horrific night on the mountain. Rapidly succumbing to hypothermia, the couple risk losing consciousness and slipping into a coma.
we are very much on borrowed time now. And he squeezes me, and then I knew that I might not get another opportunity to say it, so I just said,
I'd rather be here with you than anyone else.
Me too.
It's horrible because we're not going to make another night. So we write a message to Avery.
We wanted them to know that if we were not evacuated within the next 12 hours, we would most certainly die.
It's a horrible, really horrible thing to do, to write to a friend of yours and tell them that you're not going to live. It feels like there's no time at all, and then there's a reply, and I feel sick when I see what he's writing back to me. And he says, "Shall I call your family?" It was a chance to say goodbye. But it's like something huge wells up inside me, and I just said,
No, we're not gonna do this. We've got to keep fighting, Jeremy, we've got to. I can't say goodbye.
I just couldn't do it. We've got to keep on, we've got to keep going. I just couldn't bear the pain of the thought of saying goodbye.
But despite her determination, Rachel knows this is a fight they may not win.
I close my eyes and put my hands together and I start praying. It's an incredibly humbling experience praying for your life. I was vaguely aware of it getting light, but it was almost like it didn't matter anymore because I couldn't function anyway.
Against all the odds, the couple have endured a second night. But they're now losing the will to survive.
Well, your brain's shutting down because you're freezing cold. You just want it to end.
And then it just suddenly became apparent to both of us that the wind was dying down.
Rachel realizes that the weather is improving and seizes the opportunity.
I turned the phone on and I called the rescue team. And amazingly, when I dial this number, we get straight through.
Hello.
I said,
Rachel,
which I knew was my voice, but I didn't know what was coming out of it. It was like being drugged.
Hello, Rachel?
And I heard this really ecstatic sound on the end of the phone, almost like someone who incredibly surprised. They couldn't believe that we were actually alive.
Okay, we're going to send...
They tell us that they're going to make a rescue attempt at 7 o'clock. But I don't want to get too excited.
Jeremy and Rachel know this rescue attempt is their last chance.
They're coming.
Jeremy said it's coming up the ridgeline, and we couldn't see it yet, but we could hear the direction. And then I remember seeing this helicopter, and it looked tiny. This mountain is huge, and there was this tiny little black dot working its way towards us, and then suddenly it just became bigger and bigger, and then it was right there.
And then it hovers above me, and I can see the winchman at the door. I can see his face. I could see the cable coming towards me. That's when it sunk in that, you know, we'd made it. It's a fantastic feeling, you know, you've made it, and yeah, you're gonna have another chance.
We've done it. We've survived, and I could smile. I knew we were alive now.
After 40 hours in bitterly cold conditions, Jeremy and Rachel are airlifted to safety. Thanks to their survival efforts, the couple suffered no long-term damage, and both made full recoveries. However, their experiences on the mountain did have a lasting effect.
Those 2 days changed my life. I'd set out with someone who I thought was good-looking, a good climber, and now suddenly here was someone who I had this incredibly close connection with. Someone who, as long as I lived, would be in my mind. Someone who would stand by me and be with me every step of the way.
I just realised that this person was, the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with.
Each day I wake up and I just feel so happy to be alive and so thankful. I'm now married with 2 lovely daughters. Every day is a blessing, every day is a gift.